Hello, guys, and here we are again with another episode, and we're here to talk Star Wars, and nobody's else I'd rather be doing it with than you guys and Yanzi Lynn. Yanzi
Hi.
Lynn. Nobody gives her enough credit. She's just like, hello. Do it
What?
again.
Hi.
All right. Hi, she says. And guys, we're going to talk about Star Wars. We're going to talk about Gina Carano's. We're going to talk about the Jon Favreau's. We're going to talk about the Luke Skywalkers. But before we get into that, guys, hit like, subscribe, hit the bell for notification. Today's a day that I was like, they're going to look down. They're going to look down at that subscribe button and they're going to hit it. They're going to hit that button just like we're going to hit this here article. Bam! Jon Favreau rumored to be protecting the Mandalorian actress Gina Carano from being fired. What? Why? Why does she need to be fired? Why? People loved her. People loved her first season. She was a strong female character. A strong.
I believe they all loved and adored her in season 1 until she went and said some things that they didn't approve of on Twitter, and then now they all hate her because we cannot have politically diverse actors and actresses. They must all conform with what we think, otherwise we'll get them cancelled. That is the new way of the Hollywood people now.
But you have to understand, and you can't make everybody happy. That's the thing. You can't. There's always going to be somebody that dislikes what you think, and you would think people for all these years are like, well, we need a strong female character, and we need to interject, into Star Wars a stronger female character, and they came up with Dune. They came up with Cara Dune, and she was putting Mando on his backside in their first meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And he would probably be dead if it wasn't for Baby Yo-Yo's sipping a cup of soup, and a strong female character kicking the protagonist's butt. She's got bigger arms than him. I don't know what they want. Oh wait, she's got a strong mind to go along with being a strong
That's a big
female
no-no
character.
nowadays. Women cannot think for themselves. They must think according to how the patriarchy wants them to think. In this case, it's all of the Twitter SJW telling them, think like us, Gina, otherwise you are the other side, which means you're evil, which means you must be cancelled.
Gina Carano, a lady that used to knock biatches out in the ring, the octagon. Is she allowed to be a strong-minded female? And that's the irony here, guys, is the irony in all of this, in the nutshell, is that she's not. SJWs want a strong female, but they didn't want a strong-minded female. And it's like, so you wanted a strong female cardboard cutout?
No. They want a strong-minded female who thinks like them. Get it? If she doesn't think like them, then they don't even care. They don't care that she's a woman. They don't care that she's a minority. They don't care that she has a strong mind. Because wrong thing, dear. Get out of our sight. Bye. And
be careful what you wish for. That's the thing. This is ironic to me. It's like, be careful what you wish for. You wanted a strong female protagonist into Star Wars. You got one, and now you can't stand it. And right now, Jon Favreau, a guy that's coming into Star Wars, injecting. He didn't have at first, guys. You have to understand. Jon Favreau had one corner of the Star Wars galaxy, and that was bounty hunters. He did have Baby Yoda, and that's it. And he built a franchise out of it. Pretty much the best Star Wars we've had in years. Okay. And it kind of rubs people the wrong way. And I think after season 1 success, I think SJWs just couldn't accept it. They're like, why? Whoa. Everybody's buying Baby Yoda. I think that's when it got to them, is when they saw that this was going to surpass things like, The Last Jedi, that this was going to be better than the Kylo Rens and the Reylos. I think this got under their skin. They're like, whoa, this has got legs on it. This is going to surpass our efforts in Star Wars. And I think
in season 2, a lot of this stuff was overshadowed by people just screaming for Gina's head. And then suddenly the finale for season 2 dropped. And then that was like, oh, Luke Skywalker. The patriarchy is back. Oh no, Kathleen Kennedy's Star Wars is gone.
And in a nutshell, before we get in this article, and we've said this before on this channel, and I'm going to say it a time and time again. It's a storm. When a warm front and a cold front clash, you end up with a storm. And I think the storm is going to break in the next few months. We had the thing from Kathleen Kennedy's camp come out, the High Republic. Nobody's really talking about it except for the crazy radical things that Justina Ireland saying that she hates white men, that she hates men in general. They found another video. She just hates men in general. And so we see this type of either racism coming from that camp or whatever, that's kind of saying screw this demographic, screw 40-year-old men, whatever, people that keep Star Wars franchise alive by shelling our money into the franchise. And we're seeing two different camps. The what they say are new fan camps, which is a hypothetical because they don't really exist yet. You're saying that you're going to go mine for some new fans, and by doing that, we need characters with half their head shaved, and we need to ignore the things that came before that made this franchise popular. And we actually and the easiest way to make our new characters better than the old characters is to demonize the old characters. If they become dark, hollow shells of themselves, if they become villains, then all of a sudden my protagonist must be better than the other. And all of this flew apart with the return of Luke Skywalker because everybody cheered, everybody's excited. And that was the thing. I went into season 2 and I was like skeptical. I'm like, I just don't like it. I don't see my big surprise. Where's my I don't feel the zing I saw from, and that was the thing. Jon Favreau was the man. He front loaded the big shocker in season 1 with Baby Yoda. And then he said, that's too predictable. I got to shock him at the end. And that was the return of Luke Skywalker. That one episode made me love the entire season 2. I was hating it until I got there. I didn't like Mando's character choices. I didn't like how he was just a shield of armor, that he wasn't the badass he was in season 1. And I thought he was getting soft, to be honest. And I love season 2. The return of Luke Skywalker. I can't say enough. Now, Favreau, evidently what we're coming to, and I think this is the hypothetical storm I'm talking about, is he's in the position of, do I fire Gina Carano? Or because if I do, I'm giving in the cancel culture. And once you give an inch, they take a mile. And once you get rid of Gina, they're going to start telling him what he can and cannot do with characters that he has in the Star Wars universe. And it was rumored yesterday, and I think it was yesterday, that Bob Iger is actually getting behind the Favreau camp now, because they're having to take a hard look at the books. They're having to say, well, something's selling, something's not. The creators on the High Republic, they're saying High Republic's not doing well because of Luke Skywalker. They're starting to blame the success for the failure, which makes no sense. You can fall on your own accord. You can, that if you win or lose, that's on you. And there's a bit of tension here between the old and the new. And Gina, and what she says on social media, she's exercising a political opinion, a political, on just everything. I mean, and she's a strong-minded person, and I don't think she should necessarily be compromised, like the things she's thinking, for a role. But I don't know. I don't think she's very outspoken.
Didn't even have any kind of legal basis to fire her, though. I mean, everything she says, basically, she's just expressing her opinion, and it's just on the different side of the political aisle that those opinions lie on. She didn't say anything that would say, say break the law. She didn't do anything illegal. So how would they fire her exactly at this point?
Well, she's being swarmed to say things that people want her to say. And, the beep, bop, boop thing got her in a big pot of water. And you can look through some of the tweets, but they kind of say, we need you to repeat what I'm saying, Gina, defund the police, and she won't do it. And then they kind of make things a little bit more political. The people on Twitter, they swarm her, and she just won't give in and repeat the things that they want her to say. And, in a way, there is in any entertainment agreement usually a clause for being bad publicity, and it's kind of a gray area. And so, do they have legal means to fire her? probably not, but like I said, it's a gray area. It's like what constitutes bad publicity. If you ask, well, what does this clause mean to a lawyer? They'll say, well, like if Halle Berry DWI or a hit and run or something like that. And you've seen, I think certain athletes, even John Jones, there was a hit and run issue with him. And sometimes people in entertainment, they use that clause to either, like an athlete, maybe they're not able to perform for a while, or maybe if you're a star, they could technically fire you from a movie, but they have to evaluate the cost and of that. So basically, that clause is supposed to ideally navigate them in and out of like you ran over a kid, or a hit and run, or you got busted with drugs, or something like that. With this is interesting because she's technically not doing anything, but that bad publicity clause, which I've seen in many contracts I've signed in my own life, believe it or not, it does allow them. I don't know. It's a gray area. That's the thing. The trick is has it ever been executed on this type of level? And there are people at Disney that would love to put her, to grab her scalp, and they would take it as a win because they can't stop Mandalorian. They can't stop Luke Skywalker. That genie's out of the bottle. But can they still get Gina? And a lot of weight is on Favreau here. Does he give in? Does he bend a knee? And if he did bend a knee and he does give Gina, and I'm sure, is she going to be used as leverage in some way? Well, you can do more with this character if you get rid of this character or something like that. Who knows? But the idea here is, what would this say to conservatives that actually are big Star Wars fans, which is the people that usually put money into Star Wars, replicas, props, toys, action figures, stuff like that. I mean, it's no mystery that the top selling Star Wars stuff is the older stuff. And, what would this say to the conservative mind? And this is what's interesting, guys, is when you're selling a property, especially like Star Wars, the idea is you want to sell it across the board. George Lucas wanted to sell Star Wars to everyone. That's why he had things like Ewoks. He thought he could make more money. He thought kids would love it. Jar Jar Binks, he thought kids would love it, and kids did. But he's always had the mind that I want to sell to this age person and this age person and this person over here. And I don't understand this idea now that Star Wars has to be for a certain people, not everybody. And the cancellation of Gina is exactly that. They're trying to mold Star Wars into. They're trying to take it away from half the demographic and only have it there for the half that, this cancel culture thing. And that's the thing too. Jon Favreau's he's not very political, at least out in public. Nobody knows where he's at on the spectrum. I personally don't know. And I don't want to know. That's the thing. I don't care. I just want good Star Wars. That's it. If Gina Carano is part of good Star Wars, then so be it. I don't really care what she says on Twitter. I personally don't. I'm worried about her performance in the show. That's it. I'm worried about her portraying the character she is. I like her character a lot. I think she brings a chemistry to the show that's very needed, and it would be sad to see her robbed. I mean, look in the last episode, her, being there was the woman crowd running around shooting stormtroopers in the last episode. She was the dominant female. She was a dominant force. She was the strength. Why rob that? Like, well, what are you proving just because of some tweets? And a lot of you have to go back and look through the tweets, but she's not repeating, or she's strong-minded, and saying, it's okay if you choose not to follow me. Like, you have to separate the, the art from the artist here. Like, just because it's not fair to her, just because she's the character that she plays on TV, that she loses her soul and her personality as a person. Now, some people are going to argue, well, I would like certain celebrities to say less. I think they need to be less political and stuff. And I agree on that too. But you also have to understand, like, just because she has a few episodes of Mandalorian in Star Wars does that mean, and nobody knows really what she's getting paid. Is it a little? Is it a lot? Is she now like robbed of having an opinion on pandemic? Is she robbed of an opinion politically? Is nobody makes you sign that away when you sign a contract? Never has anybody said that either. This is relatively a new thing happening in pop culture today. And a lot of it isn't trying to take politics out. It's you have to understand it's the other side of the coin. It's a lot of people trying to push politics into pop culture mediums, and this always builds conflict. They think it's like they're trying to sell to the people that believe that politically, but in the end, it's a fool's errand, because you're always going to lose half the demographic. And something again like Star Wars, it should just sell to everyone. People are going to argue, well, Star Wars has always had political stuff in there. It's also had cultural stuff in there. It's also had yin yang things in there. That doesn't mean like, it isn't really political. I mean, it's merchandisable. It's as many people can buy Star Wars, sell it to them. And that's the idea I would like to see in the Star Wars camp. I would like to see a unity. I would like to say, sell this to everybody you can, and until something's a dud, and then we stop and we keep moving forward with Star Wars. I don't know. But I do think these days are going to be more than fewer pretty soon. I think we're going to see a break in the storm, or the storm's going to break out, whatever you want to say. There is a warm front hitting a cold front, and there's tension, and it's going to, erupt. I think there's going to be, I think we're going to see a change of some sort. I just hope it's, the right change.
Mm-hmm. In the meantime, though, let's just hope that people will stop trying to make Gina, change her mind to talk like them, so that she can finally be accepted. Because what we know about all this cancel culture vultures is that once you're on their radar, it doesn't matter what you say or what you do. You can never grovel far enough for them. So Gina, stand strong.
Stand strong. I like that term, though, guys. We're going to coin that on this show. Cancel culture vultures. It has a nice ring to it. On that note, hit subscribe. Leave us a like, a dislike if you want. And leave us a comment. I'd like to know what you think on this. And we will catch you next time with another video.